Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is a really special day for me because it is the 1-year mark of me being sober. That's a huge deal for me. Before I became sober last year, the longest I had been sober since I was 15 or 16 was probably 1 to 2 weeks. So 1 year is a huge accomplishment, and I've learned so much about myself, and I can't wait to share with y'all exactly what I've learned through this process. So many things about myself and about other people. The reason I became sober was that I was going through a divorce that first year, and I really didn't want any numbing agent while I was processing all my emotions, getting my head around exactly, what was happening. Everything was going so fast. I didn't want to suppress my grief and have that surface up later, because I kind of looked at it like as if grief and sadness and these emotions were almost like a ball that you were putting underwater, and the further you push it down, the faster it'll come up and shoot up later on. And I was just really conscious about, I don't want to deal with this the rest of my life or for the next 5 years or whatever. I want to really handle this head on. I want to sit with those emotions. I want to learn about myself. I don't want to suppress this. I'm just ready to take on all the grief, all the uncomfort right now, right here. And I'm so happy and so grateful that me a year ago did that, and I'm in such a different place right now. I feel almost healed. It's been 16 months since my separation, and I can't tell you how comfortable and happy I am with myself now. I'm gonna tell you all exactly what I learned being sober and how it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made for myself, my growing, my health, and my relationships. My relationship with myself and my relationship with other people. So going sober was both harder and easier than I thought, and I'll explain. I was so used to socially drinking. I would have, and I love beer so much, I love bread, I love a carb, I love beer, and so that was hard for me to give up because a lot of the times I would associate socializing and an activity with a drink at the end, and that became a routine. And I noticed that this can't be a routine, something that negatively impacts my sleep, my mental health. I can't do this on a regular basis, and I really need to cut this out and not have it be a routine. The next 90 days were the hardest to give up alcohol, but once you get in the routine of it, it becomes really easy. After you give up drinking for 90 days, it just becomes the norm to you now. You don't even think oh, this is something that other people are doing that I can't do. It really just becomes okay, they're doing it. I see that they're doing it. And there's no craving after that 90 days. I just knew that the more and more that I stayed consistent and didn't participate in drinking, the less I was gonna crave it, the more normal it was gonna be for me. And that eventually did happen. So the 3-month mark, that's when everything really started to get easier. The hardest part of giving up drinking was probably socializing at parties where I wasn't super familiar with people, and I felt like I really wanted that social lubricant. The hardest part of not drinking was the first hour, and that's when everyone actually kind of feels uncomfortable. It's when people are starting to drink and they're uncomfortable too, and it's kind of before the alcohol even hits them. And then once the alcohol hits them and they start to open up, even when I'm not drinking, I felt like once their social anxiety went down, that's when mine went down too. And also just spending more time at the party socializing with people, I gradually became more comfortable. Now when I go to a party, I'm the first hour is gonna be a little weird. That's okay, that's expected, that's normal. And it's uncomfortable for everyone. And then after the first hour, things just start to get less uncomfortable. And that was kind of encouraging for me because now I can kind of see the patterns of why I would drink in the first place, and just hold myself through the discomfort if I'm feeling that way. and eventually just feeling comfortable and going home at a reasonable time, not overstaying my welcome if I'm, intoxicated like in the past. And I can really like listen to my body cues of I'm tired, I want to go home. When other people like stay up super late drinking, I'm able to go home and get a good rest and feel really good and healthy the next morning. But I've still had the experience of, socializing and going to the party and showing up for my friends. Sleep was the biggest thing that improved from stopping drinking. Even if I slept for the same number of hours as I did with a drink, if I didn't drink, my REM sleep was just so much deeper, and I just felt so much well rested the next morning, which really helped with healing from PTSD, my mental health, anxiety, depression, all of those things. So sleep is one of the most impactful healers that has happened this year from not drinking. Drinking also shines a light on the insincere friendships of your life and who is meant to be in your life. And it does this in two ways. The first is it shows the people who you wouldn't want to tolerate if you weren't drinking. And so automatically it makes you choose people you like to be around. You generally like to be around, not people that you need some kind of like numbing agent to be around. So it helps you choose people that are actually good for you. And then two, it weeds out people that just want to go out and drink and numb themselves. I can see a massive shift from the people I hung out with when I was drinking and my friend group now, and I couldn't be more grateful for the individuals in my life. They're really supportive, they're really authentic, good people, and they're not the ones that pressure me to engage in behaviors to make themselves feel comfortable. There are going to be people who pressure you to drink because they use alcohol as a way to numb their emotions, and they do have a heavy or slight addiction to it, and they're not being honest with themselves, and they feel self-conscious about it, and they're going to want you to drink in order to normalize their behavior and so that they don't have to face themselves. It's not your job to make them feel comfortable. It's also not your job to call this out or bring this to their attention if you don't want to. By you not participating in drinking, they're gonna feel like it's saying something about them, and it's not on you to make them feel comfortable by putting something poisonous into your body. And this is where boundaries are really important, and this is where self-respect is really important too. So I've had to cut out some friendships, and then also it's so great for dating too, because I won't engage with individuals who continuously need to drink on dates to feel comfortable. I found it's a really good indicator for me to cut off these people from my dating life and kind of give them the boot, because that's not a lifestyle I want to engage in. I don't want a partner who continuously needs to drink to feel comfortable. It's also excellent for dating because I've noticed that especially men, they will want you to drink so your inhibitions are lower in order to take advantage of you sexually. Good way to stand your ground, set a boundary, weed out people that don't need a drink in order to connect with you, and you're always going to be in your right mind about what you want to do sexually. Your guard is never going to be down. You're going to be able to listen to your body. Does this make me feel uncomfortable? How do I want to proceed in this situation? It's just really, really good all around. You really get to know the person. You are listening to your intuition and your body at all times and your nervous system. So even if you don't cut out alcohol 100%, highly recommend at least cutting out alcohol on the first 2 dates so you can really gauge whether you actually like the person. Another thing that I kept in mind is that drinking has 0 health benefits. Throughout this year, I realized time and time again that, I'm running a side hustle, I have my creative project, YouTube, I have a full-time career that's demanding, and I'm on a very, very competitive sports team. I also have a lot of friends, and I prioritize visiting my family also. And I wouldn't be able to do the amount of things that bring me happiness. Like, all of these things bring me so much happiness, so much fulfillment. And I wouldn't be able to do these things if I was recovering from a night out, you know, wasting away the night drinking, having everything be a blur. I wouldn't be able to do things because I would have low serotonin and dopamine the next day. I would be depressed and anxious. I would have a huge headache. I would feel sick. I'd be tired from the lack of sleep after not getting a rested night's sleep. I have found no negative consequences from not drinking. Even like my skin has cleared and I'm not dehydrated. I think I would look a lot older if I were to engage in drinking and smoking and substance use. Also, not drinking at events where other people are drinking, like work conferences, work happy hours, and sports team socials. These are all places with people that, you know, you have the potential to network with, to gain future opportunities from if you're looking for that. They're people that you highly respect, and you know, both professionals and athletes, that they're like well known in the city I live in, and I want to be able to put my best foot forward in front of these people, especially at conferences where my coworkers would go out and, you know, have a night out and I was in bed asleep and well rested for the next day session. I was never like worried about the things that I said in front of these different professionals. I always knew that I put my best foot forward, and I could leave the conference or the happy hour or the social knowing that everything I said with clarity. I represented myself in the best way possible. And I'm like proud of who I am and the things that I stand for. Another point is that when you drink after working out, it really prevents you from recovering from that workout, from building muscle tissue, and just being the strongest, healthiest athlete you can be. That kept me accountable from drinking because I take my sport really seriously and it is not easy. And I have to wake up early for it. So I felt like my sport it did help me really stay accountable, and it's already so mentally and physically exhausting that why would I want to make it harder by drinking or having a bad night's sleep or staying up all night? There was just like no way. That was one of the main things that really did hold me accountable. It was also a great excuse too. To say like, I'm not going out drinking or I'm not having a drink. I have my sport in the morning. So to conclude, not drinking has been one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life. It's helped me with my relationships with people. It's helped me understand the people that I want in my life. It's helped me make good choices for my body and for my health, especially in terms of dating. It's kept me away from dating people who aren't good for me, from STDs, from potentially getting like a DUI. There was like no way that was gonna happen. It's prevented like embarrassing posts on social media while intoxicated. It's eliminated like fights with friends and family if I was under the influence and wasn't thinking in my right mind, and just like overall other bad situations that spiral from drinking. The biggest benefit is that it's helped me heal after my divorce, and it's helped me understand myself at a cellular level. I've been able to just sit with my emotions, and last year when I was going through my separation and divorce, it was uncomfortable to come home to myself, and now I feel like I know myself in such a grounded way where it feels like such a warm fire that I get to spend time with myself and be with myself and understand my emotions. And I don't think that would happen if I was like constantly numbing with alcohol. Only positives. I appreciate you all being here, and I encourage you all, and if not a fully sober lifestyle, at least a lifestyle with reduced alcohol. And I hope to see you all next week for the next video, and have a great rest of your week. Okay, bye.